So in talking about this, older adult population and caregivers that are helping them, let's talk about anxiety within kind of that transition for older adults. So we know that a lot of them face anxiety, whether it's, moving into a new living situation, or maybe they just lost a spouse or a partner. Maybe they just gave up driving, or they're, leaving their longtime home. Mm-hmm. From your experience, what do you think are the most common triggers or sources of anxiety during these transitions? And then what should caregivers do? And what should they be watching for as warning signs?
Okay, big questions. Here we go.
It is a big question. Yeah. So what does that look like? What are those common triggers, and what should caregivers look for warning signs?
Well, common triggers, you mentioned the big transitions that occur in the senior stage of life, and even things that we think are going to be positive, like retiring is a huge transition. And oh, yay, I finally reached the point where I can retire. But moving from the daily expectation, the identity that we have, just that alone is enough to really trigger people's anxiety and loss and grief and all the things that we relate to losing others, losing people, losing animals, etc. But making decisions that are positive and exciting can also trigger anxiety. And then, of course, as you mentioned, a lot of seniors are changing homes and maybe have lost friends around them, maybe lost a primary relationship. Maybe their kids don't live close by, and then dealing with some of the physical changes that we deal with when we're aging. All of that can cause anxiety and grief and depression. And so if it's not addressed, and let's look at this situation that boomers and the silent generation, who are older than the boomers, and that whole span runs from like the age 61 to 100, tend to be people who were asked to be seen and not heard as children. And we're expected to put up and shut up and just stuff it and go when things have happened that are emotionally difficult. And so it's not always a habit for seniors to be able to express feelings in a way that is understandable to others and certainly to their caregivers. So that can sometimes build a lot of frustration and anger. The anxiety can come out as frustration and anger and fear and withdrawal and all different ways of people trying to protect themselves from those intense feelings that come with the big changes as we move into senior life.